What's up y'all, and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, hello and welcome. In today's video, we are going to be playing with the new Fuji 5 Lakes palette from Nomad Cosmetics, and let me just start by saying this packaging is absolutely stunning. The pictures do not do this justice. This is so much prettier in person. This is raised, it is textured, it looks like an oil painting that you would find in a museum. True piece of art, and I personally think this is probably the most stunning packaging the brand has ever given us. I absolutely love Nomad. I know I say I love a lot of different indie brands, and I really do, but Nomad is a top 5 indie brand for me. I love that they are a travel-based indie brand. There is a cause associated with every single palette. The artwork, the color stories are always so unique. Their formula gets better and better with every single release, and I love that they do a guessing game over on Instagram. It really connects you to the palette, to the brand, makes you feel like you are part of the release, and I just think it's so fun. But this is the newest palette from the brand. This is their fall release, and it definitely gives me fall vibes with this color story, but I also feel like this is giving a little bit of winter vibes as well, and it's definitely those icy blues in here. So while you have the reds and the yellows that are going to give you those fall vibes, if you cover up the reds, you get winter vibes as well. Now, I've said it before, you don't have to let the seasons dictate what palette you use, how you do your makeup, anything like that. But if you are somebody who, like me, who likes to be inspired by the seasons every once in a while, this is going to be a good one to take you from fall even into spring. I think it's absolutely beautiful. This is a 15 pan palette. You do get 9 mattes and 6 shimmers in here. I love the color story. I love the array of mattes in here. I do have to say, I think that these two shades right here are very similar. I have not swatched it out yet. You are already seeing or about to see the swatches, so you'll know, but based off of first impression, just opening this, I feel like these are very similar, and maybe we could have gotten something different, but we're gonna play with this palette. We're gonna create 2 looks with it, and at the end of the video, I will give you my first initial impression thoughts. I will have this palette as well as everything else that I use in this video listed and linked down below in the description box. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos, always to the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. I also want to point out, if you're new to Nomad, you do get this fun little postcard with every single palette that you purchase, and it just gives you a little bit more background and information on the destination, the color story, the cause, all of that. And I will have the more details of this down in the description box as well, in case you want to know all of that, and I'm sure it's over on the website as well. But let's go ahead and get my hair out of my face, zoom in, prime my eyes, and start creating these looks. Alright, so my eyes are primed, my Sigma eyeshadow base in the shade Ignite. Let's go ahead and start creating our first look with this palette. So, gosh, I want to play with everything. I love these reds over here. I think they are so rich and yummy looking, but I think for the first look, I want to play with like these icy blues and these yellows over here. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this bright yellow shade right here. This one is called Koyo, I believe. I apologize completely if I'm messing up any of these names. I'm sure I am, but we're gonna go ahead and go into that shade. So I'm gonna pick it up with my Singe Beauty EO5, and I'm gonna put this on my inner corner. I love a bright yellow inner corner. I love a bright chartreusey shade, and I just want to pop this in here as like our pop of color. If I'm gonna do a bright pop of color on my inner corner, I always start there and then work my way outwards. But look at how gorgeous and vibrant that is. I got minimal kick up in the pan. I am not getting any fallout with this. I can't tell you about patching and skipping because I'm going into a very small space, but let's go ahead and carry on. So I think what I want to do next is dive into this really, really deep. Actually, no, I want to go in with this shade right here first, and then we'll go in with this one. So this one is called Fujigoko. Ugh. Ooh, that just felt so wrong saying it. If I nailed it, yay me. If I didn't, I apologize. But I'm going to pick up that shade with a BK Beauty 206, and we're going to put this on the outer corner of my lid. I have a feeling I'm going to be apologizing for a lot of butchered shade names in this palette, so let this be your warning now that Yep, I'm gonna butcher these, but let's go ahead and apply this. So I am doing tapping motions. I always like to pack my shades on first, get them where I want them, and then I will go back and start to disperse and blend if I need to. But I just wanna make sure that I get the best color payoff that I can with these shades. And so far, this is performing absolutely beautifully. I'm not getting patching, skipping, grabbing. I'm not getting any fallout down here. This side of my face is not powdered. I am doing my Patrick Ta foundation wear test. You will have already seen that video by the time this goes up, but my under eye is powdered, but the rest of my face isn't. So if we get fallout, you're gonna know. All right, so I'm just bringing that shade down onto the outer half of my lower lash line as well, just kind of wrapping that shade around, making sure that everything is nice and cohesive. But let's go ahead and move on. So next I wanna go in with this darker shade right here. This one is called Mount Hoi. Ugh. I am so sorry. Again, I'm apologizing, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick that shade up with, where is my brush for this? I can't find it. Here it is. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up with my Morphe M506 brush, and I'm just gonna very lightly put this in my outer corner, building up some depth out here. I normally don't have any issues going from dark to light or light to dark with their eyeshadows. I can usually go either way, but we're gonna test this out because you never know. All palettes are not created equal. And this is building up on itself nicely. It's giving me just enough depth and definition. Obviously, if you want like the full impact of this shade, I would recommend putting it on first and then going back with your lighter shades and sort of blending it out with those. But this is definitely giving me the depth that I want. All right, the last matte that we're gonna use is this one right here. This one is called Mount Fuji, that I can pronounce. So we're gonna pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO2 brush, and I'm gonna put this in the blank space on my lid and the blank space on my lower lash line. I am getting a little bit more kick up in the pan with this one, but it's not a whole lot, so we'll see if we get fallout or anything like that. Again, I am pressing this on. I always do pressing motions. And we're just gonna kind of blend everything together, make sure it all flows really nicely. And then once I have this shade on the rest of my crease and my lower lash line, I'm just gonna pick up a little bit on my brush and I'm just gonna go right along the edge of that first deep blue shade that we put down, just to make sure that everything is nice and blended, nice and kind of blurred. I don't like to have any harsh lines with my eyeshadow looks, and this is doing beautiful. I am not getting any fallout. The shades are blending together really nicely. And so far this is going from dark to light beautifully. All right, so my lid is primed, my NYX glitter primer. Let's go ahead and put some shimmer on this lid. So I know I don't normally swatch out shimmers before I put them on my lid, but I do want to swatch out these two just really quick to see what they're gonna look like. I'm just really curious if these are as similar as they actually look, and I will say that they are pretty similar. This one right here, which is the top finger, is definitely a little bit lighter and brighter, and then the bottom one is more of a deeper blue. So I think we're actually gonna play with both of these on the lid and then maybe a little pop of this in the center. I want to keep my inner corner matte though for this look. So we're gonna go ahead and, well, wipe off my fingers because I can't pick anything up with that. But we're gonna go in with the lighter of the two blue shades. So this one is called Kawajuchiko. Oh man, this is really hard. But I'm gonna pick that up on my finger and I'm gonna pop this one all over my lid, and I'm gonna bring it over to that yellow shade. Like I said, I am not going to bring this into my inner corner, but I am gonna put a little something right here to help transition that and make it softer, but we will get there in just a minute. But that is that first shade down, and that is beautiful. It doesn't have a flip to it or anything like that. It's not gritty. It feels nice and soft whenever I pick it up. It doesn't feel wet or anything, but it doesn't feel textured or gritty, and that is very beautiful. Very, very reflective. So next I'm going to go in with the darker of the two blue shimmer shades, and I'm going to pop this one right on my lid where that shimmer and that matte meet. They blend pretty well as it is, but I want to try using as many of these shades as possible, see how they're going to melt together, how they're going to blend together, all of that. And this one picked up the same way this one did. Nice and smooth, very soft. It wasn't one of those that's like putty and like you dig into and immediately hit pan, but I didn't have any issues. It didn't crumble or anything like that on me. But let's go ahead and do one more shimmer. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with this shimmer up here. This one is called Golden Ginkgo, I think is how you say that. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick that one up with my Singe Beauty EO1 brush. I am going to spray that with some MAC Fix Plus. If I can find that brush, here it is, it's hiding way back here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that one up, like I said, with my Singe Beauty EO1 brush. I am going to spray it with a little bit of MAC Fix Plus, and I'm gonna put this right here. I'm not putting it in the inner corner, but I just want to soften this blend between that matte and that shimmer, just because it was such a harsh line, and I don't like to have harsh lines. I like everything to blend, and that really made a big difference. I don't know if you can really see the color payoff of the shimmer. I can't, but it definitely softened it and made everything blend together nicely. But before we finish this off, I want to go in with a little bit of this shimmer right here and just kind of tap it in the center, brighten things up just a smidgen. I prefer lighter shimmers for my lid than I do darker ones, so that's what we're gonna do. This is called Diamond Fuji. Love the name, very appropriate. And oh my gosh, like look at that shade. Can you see the reflection and the flip in it? I don't know if you can, but I'm gonna pop this right here in the center of my lid and bring it over just a little bit to kind of mesh everything together, and that just brightened up that look. It really transformed that shimmer that I had on my lid. Alright y'all, so this is the first completed look, and I love the way this turned out. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Everything performed the way that I expected it to. I didn't come across any issues as far as pigmentation, patching, blending, skipping, fallout, anything like that. The shimmers went on absolutely beautiful. They were so smooth, very easy to work with. But let me go ahead and show you what I used to finish off this look, and then we will move on to our second look with this palette. I apologize for Brody barking in the background. He's doing his thing. It's what he likes to do. I would be here all day if I tried to film around his barking, so I apologize. But in my lower lash line, I went in with a NYX Epic Wear Liner. This is in the shade Blue Trip. I lined my lid with my Half Magic Flick liquid eyeliner, and then for mascara, I went in with my City Beauty Beyond mascara. But let's go ahead and move on to the other eye, because I want to play with these reds. I think they are so yummy, so beautiful, and I don't know what direction we're gonna go with this because we only have 3 reds. A part of me is like, girl, just do an all red look, but then the other part of me is like, bring in this shade right here. So I think that's what we're gonna do, but I'm gonna start with this bright red shade down here. This one is called Burning Bush, another name that I can pronounce. Absolutely love that. So I'm gonna pick that one up with a BK Beauty 205 brush. I need to wash my brushes so bad. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick that shade up, and we are going to start by tapping this into like the outer half of my lid. I'm gonna bring it about halfway over, and then I'm probably gonna do that really pretty like mustard yellow shade on the inner half. But that pigmentation is definitely there. Again, I am not getting any fallout. I'm not getting any patching. This is going on flawlessly. Alright, I'm also taking that shade down onto my lower lash line as well. I am just pressing it. I'm not doing swiping motions. From my experience, I have learned that with reds, your best bet is to press them to get the best pigmentation possible out of them. Sometimes if you go in with blending motions or swiping motions, they can start to kind of turn a little bit more on the pink side for you, just because they do have that red undertone in them, and once they start to fluff out, they definitely can lighten up and turn pink. So if you want the true red pigmentation, definitely go in with pressing motions. That is such a stunning red. I love it. Okay, let's move on to this shade down here. This one is called Burnished Beach, and I'm going to pick that one up with my Singe Beauty EO4 brush, and I'm going to press this one on the inner half of my lid. So I'm just going to start to press it all along my crease. I'm basically following that line of my socket, and I'm going to bring it over to my inner corner, but I'm not going to bring it into my inner corner. I definitely want to do a shimmer for that, but I am just going to press it and make sure that everything just kind of melts together instead of muds out or anything like that. And then I'm going to bring it down onto the lower lash line as well in that blank space where I didn't put the red. Next, we're going to go in with this shade right here. I've given up on shade names, but it's this really pretty dark burgundy shade. I'm going to go ahead and pick that one up with a Singe Beauty EO5 brush, and you guessed it, I am going to build up some depth into this outer corner. So I have it picked up, and I'm going to go in right here, again, pressing motions, get it where I want it, and then once I have the shade down, I'll start to blend it a little bit more. I don't want this to take over, but I want to see if this is going to build up on top of a red. I do find that reds can be a little bit harder to build up on top of sometimes, and this one is definitely building up. It's not building up to quite the intensity that I want, but I am okay with that. I didn't want anything super dark out here, and the more I pile on top, it is definitely deepening up a little bit more, but I'm still not getting any fallout, any patching, grabbing, or anything like that. I would say though, if you want to have the most depth with these darker shades, go in with that first and then go back with your brighter colors, but you can definitely see that deepened up that outer corner for me. All right, so real quick before we move on to shimmers on the lid, I'm going to go in with just a clean, fluffy brush. This one is a Game Beauty EO6, and I am just going to very lightly go along the edges of this red shade. I want to soften up the edge a little bit more. I wish that we had something lighter than just this kind of like warm tone neutral shade right here, which is almost a mid-tone. I wish we had like almost like a pastel pink in here just to kind of help fluff out this edge. I completely lost my train of thought. Now I can absolutely bring in something else from my collection, but whenever I do a video like this, I like to use the palette by itself. I don't like to bring in other things. I want you to see what this palette is capable of on its own without bringing anything in, and that is definitely softening that edge and just kind of lightening it up a little bit. So okay, I like what that's doing. All right, NYX glitter primer is on, so let's go ahead and move on to shimmers for the lid. So I want to play with this shade, and then probably pop that one into my inner corner. And once that's done, we have played with every single shade in this palette with the exception of these two right here. So not bad for 2 looks. But let's go ahead and start with this one down here. This one is called Pampas Grass. I can pronounce that one as well. So I'm going to pick this one up on my finger. This feels so soft and so smooth, like absolutely gorgeous, nice and reflective. Again, no flips or anything to it, but I'm just going to pop this one all over my lid. I'm going to bring it over to my inner corner, get as close to that inner corner as I possibly can. But that is beautiful. That is just transforming this look instantly. Next, I'm going to pick up this red shimmer up here. This one is called Fiery Maple, and I'm just going to pat this one right where the matte and the shimmer meet, a technique that I always like to do to make sure that everything blends and it's seamless. As you can tell, I love a blended, seamless look, and that is definitely doing the trick. These are beautiful shimmer formulas, nice and soft, nice and smooth, definitely an improvement. Like I said, they get better in every single palette, and these are so, so good. But let's go ahead and move on to this inner corner so I can finish up this look and we can chat about this palette. So, like I said, for the inner corner, I'm going to go in with this Diamond Fuji shade that I used on this eye to tap in the center. I'm going to use this for my inner corner. So, I'm going to wipe off my Singe Beauty EO1 brush. I really should pick up another 1 or 2 of these, but yeah, it's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade up. I'm going to spray it once again with my MAC Fix Plus, and we're going to pop this into the inner corner and then kind of like blend it onto the lid so that everything is nice and cohesive. Like I said, no harsh lines. I am a broken record at this point, but that is beautiful. I love that pop of shimmer on the inner corner. And there we have our second completed look with this palette, and this one is absolutely beautiful as well. I think this one is by far my favorite of the two. I'm just a sucker for a red, and I love the way this turned out. Again, just like the first eye, I didn't have any issues creating this. You can see I didn't get any fallout, no patching, no skipping. Everything went on just beautifully. The shimmers, once again, are stunning in this palette. But let me show you what I used to finish off this look so we can zoom out and chit chat about this palette. So in my lower waterline, somewhere down here is the liner I used. It is this one from Appeal. This is the the gel liner in the shade Next Level. It is a really pretty red liner. It can also be used as a lip liner as well. And then of course I lined my lid with my same Half Magic Flick liquid liner and went in with my same City Beauty Beyond mascara. But let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit and chat. All right, y'all, let's chat about the Fuji 5 Lakes palette. So I have already gushed about the packaging. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, very stunning. So let's go ahead and move on to the color story and the formula on the inside of the palette. This is beautiful. I love the attention to detail in here with Mount Fuji in the background. You have the red leaves up here, but the color story I think is beautiful. I think it definitely encaptures what they were going for. I've never been to Mount Fuji, but I have seen pictures of it in the fall, and I think this is spot on. I love the tones in here. I love that you can get a lot of variety with your looks. I love the two looks that I created, and you can also go full monochromatic and get like a yellow orange. You can get a blue, you can get a red. You can mix and match. I would love to do a blue red look. I think that would be absolutely stunning. But as far as the mattes go in here, we did get to 7 of the 9 of them, and I didn't have any issues performance wise. Everything went on beautifully. There was no patching, skipping, fallout, grabbing, anything like that. They blended out beautifully. They didn't mud up. They didn't kind of disappear into one another when I started to build up or build down the pigmentation. And I thought the shimmers in here were beautiful as well. I was so happy when I swatched these two out and saw that they were in fact different. Very similar, but I think they were different enough that they are both warranted in this palette because you can take it lighter, you can take it darker. I love this shade up here. This one is so transformative. I noticed whenever I put it over top that blue shimmer, it just really kind of brightened everything up and brought out that beautiful blue tone. And even on the inner corner over here, it really added a beautiful pop. Absolutely gorgeous. I love this palette. I think it's beautiful. I don't know if this is my absolute favorite color story from the brand. I do have other ones that I love, but I do think it is a really good addition. I think it's a good mix of fall and winter, and like I said, I think they nailed it as far as theming, as far as color story. The formula in here is beautiful, and I'm excited to keep playing with this palette. But that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Which look was your favorite? Did you pick up this palette? What is your favorite palette from Nomad Cosmetics? I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation. Light up that comment section, and as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me, and if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.